Okay, so the easiest way that I thought I'd be able to do this would be to go live on Facebook. Oh, okay, now I'm live on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, so this is the easiest way that I thought that I would be able to do this. I literally have my computer and my phone side by side, so that I can reach all my Instagram people and my Facebook following. So I'm just gonna go ahead and um, just start because this might take a minute. Because in order for you guys to understand the full extremity, well, that's not the right word, the extreme of the situation, I feel like you need a little bit of background information. So 10 years ago, we, you know, I was in my 20s, my husband was in his 20s. Um, who doesn't do dumb thing in their 20s? I know I'm guilty of doing a lot of dumb shit in my 20s. I was promiscuous. I had to fight something in court because I like co-signed for my 19-year-old. I like dated somebody who was under, like, not underage, but 19 younger than me, and had to deal with court stuff with that. So there's a lot of stupid shit that I did in my 20s, right? Well, my husband made a mistake in his 20s. Okay. He did go to jail for it. He served his time. He admitted he was guilty. There was no hiding it. He took his consequence. He was responsible for it. Over the next 10 years, he completely changed his life. He got out of, that bad scene that he had gotten into, and he went to culinary school. He got a great job as a chef. We reconnected, we got married. He took on the responsibility of Aria, and he didn't have to do that. There are so many step parents and bonus moms and dads out there that just don't accept the child as their own. And he has done an amazing job of that. And he didn't have to. And he did it while we were dating. And he did it while we were dating, and he did it while we were engaged and married. And he financially took responsibility for her emotionally. He's a great father. That's why I had a baby with him, right? Because I'm like, he's a great dad. He's an upstanding man. He would go to work. He'd come home. Um, and I was married to somebody who cheated, who lied, who was manipulative, and I had all these red flags. There's never been a red flag that my husband has ever been anything than a good man. So that's a little background of the situation of who he is today, and that he made one mistake when he was younger, like so many of us did. So in August, I guess, I don't know, the specifics still to this day. I don't know like every little minor detail, but in August, apparently our corner store, um, our corner Walgreens had a robbery. 3 months later, Taylor Police came knocking at my door. I was very hella pregnant, and I didn't know that there were police officers in my backyard with fucking guns pulled. So they were endangering my child, um, because Arya's room's back there. So um, they came to the door. They misrepresented themselves. They played off that they were there for just something to talk to Jake about, and like it was no big deal. And so I told him that he was at work. They went to his work and arrested him at work, and he works like 45 minutes away. Um, so that jeopardized his career. They put my family's well-being coming to my house with guns loaded and out, like pointing at the house. Um, so I was dumbfounded as to why they arrested him. Completely dumbfounded. And he had no clue why they arrested him. and they were just ridiculous. Now, they we hired the lawyer that had worked with him before, thinking that it was a good idea because they knew about everything about him for the most part. And I just got a bad vibe after meeting him myself. And I just knew something was off. I knew something wasn't right. So we finally got some information. And so first of all, because apparently the robbery took place in August, and they didn't come after him until November, there's a lot of evidence that we couldn't even, there's a lot of defense that we couldn't even prove. Because who holds on to receipts for 3 months? Who like remembers everything that they did in a specific day? It's absolutely ridiculous to think that he could just be memorized step by step that day. So anywho, he was never brought in for questioning. He was never brought in for a lineup. The freaking 28-year-old girl who was the manager, but happened for that half hour of the robbery, happened to be working the cash register. That seems more shady to me. Gave a description. There was palm prints. There was several palm prints on the counter, but because of the mistake my husband made 10 years ago, his was the only one in the system. So they went on my Facebook, got a picture of him, showed the girl, and said, "Is this him?" There was no lineup. She had nothing to compare it to. Going off of a memory from 3 months ago, apparently. And so it was open and shut to Taylor. Open and shut. God forbid it could have been anybody else. So my husband, by the way, my husband the same day went to the ER. I was pregnant and he wanted to get a doctor's note. So he went to the ER to try to get out of work, okay? Because he felt bad calling off, but he wanted to help me. And his work's like a stickler on doctor's notes. They still were pushing that he did it, even though he had an alibi. His lawyer just kept pushing to take a plea, kept saying, well, we can't prove why your palm prints were there. Well, it's our corner fucking Walgreens. He went in there after that supposed robbery. He was in there buying Halloween candy. He was in there a half a dozen other times, and nobody ever said anything. But, I mean, what else did they do? It was open and shut from the moment just because of his past. And our lawyer did not once defend why he was innocent. All he kept saying was pushing, oh, well, we won't win in court because you can't prove why your palm print was there. And I'm like, dude, you were shopping. All the palm print proves is that you were in the store. And of course you were in that store. You go there for deodorant, toothpaste, little odds and end things when you're running low. That was a normal thing. And it was my decision for him to have cash on him to do things like that versus using our debit card. Because again, who's thinking that they will ever have to explain why they were in a store buying fucking deodorant? It's absurd. So the lawyer kept saying that we weren't going to have a fighting chance and was filling his head with you're going to lose, essentially saying oh yeah, I doubt we win. What lawyer fucking does that? What lawyer has no faith in his ability and to help his client fight his innocence? So this all year I've been pissed about this because I'm seeing this lawyer push him taking a fucking plea. And when Jake made his decision, because he was scared into thinking that there was no fighting chance of winning, he thought he was playing to no contest. Then he's actually in on the Zoom in front of the judge, and in that moment had to plead guilty. So he's listening to his lawyer, and his lawyer saying, "Well, if you do this plea, we can drop it down to this amount of time instead of the prosecution wants like 8 or 9 years. We can drop it down to 4. Blah 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 blah." And again, Jake trusted his lawyer, but you know what? The lawyer didn't tell him that what he was pleading to, he should only be serving like a year for. He withheld all this information. He didn't take any of the evidence that we had. There was a security picture. Sure, it was grainy. It showed a white male that could have matched half of Downriver. The woman's, by the way, testimony on stand was different than what she said in the police report. Blonde hair all of a sudden became brown hair. Knife all of a sudden became weapon. There's a lot of things that changed in her story that I could sit there and pick apart. The pictures, when asked like if she remembers any distinguishing features, the picture shows that the person who robbed the store had a mohawk. My husband has never had a mohawk. Now, because he had a similar cut where he did the Justin Timberlake where like Justin Timberlake had his sides shaved, and then up top, it was shaved all the way around, but then up top he had that like weird part thing going on. That phase of Justin Timberlake? Okay, my husband, he's a Justin Timberlake fan. So he had that haircut for a while. They were saying it was the same haircut. No. A mohawk, totally not the same thing. You can see that the guy's overweight. My husband has like the fastest metabolism in the world. He's skinny. Okay? There's so many things that could have been picked apart, but because the lawyer was sitting here, somebody that my husband trusted was picking it apart, and because Taylor Cops didn't go through the proper investigation and method of freaking a lineup and bringing them in for questioning, no, they just went right to arresting him because of a fucking mistake that he made 10 years ago. This is why our system sucks, you guys, because of a mistake that you can make in your teen years or your 20s, but you're a established chef, you have a family, you have your wife's expecting a baby, all of this, you have a loving family, 2 loving families that, you guys, it was a petty theft at that Walgreens. $200. Who would rob a store for $200 just to 20 minutes later show up in an ER and get charged $250? None of this makes sense because he didn't do it. He didn't do it. But the police are saying, well, you can get to E-Course to the hospital on Telegraph during the week, during rush hour traffic in 20 minutes. You can get there, park, get checked in. That's possible. No, it's not. Not on E-Course and Telegraph. That's for damn sure. But again, our lawyer did nothing for us as far as innocence. But unfortunately, my husband trusted this man so much that by the time it clicked in him that he made a huge mistake in listening to his lawyer, it was too late. And we finally talked to a family friend that we know, and they told us, listen, you need to appeal this. At least start with appealing the length of term, because that's unjust. He should not be, if he listened to the lawyer and pled to a non-violent crime, a petty theft of $200 then he should not be serving, 4.5 years. It should be way less than that. He's like, I could have got it, if it was me. The case should have actually been dismissed, and it had some fucking, what's it called? What's it called where you have to do community service? I couldn't think of the word. So Jake started kicking himself in the ass. And I mean, I've never seen my husband wish that he would have listened to his wife so much in his life. But it's just when our friend said appeal for the length of time served, Jake still wanted to talk to his lawyer and thought, maybe he can help me figure out how to get it started, the process started. And you know what the lawyer told him? It's a bunch of paperwork. It's a waste of your time. So he literally expects my husband to sit there in jail for 4 years for something he didn't do because he pushed a plea on him because the lawyer probably thought he was guilty and didn't care to want to actually defend his innocence. Because he is a different person, not the same person that he was when that happened, and definitely would never jeopardize leaving his kids. The thing doesn't make sense. The girl changing her story and all randomly being the one at the cash register during that time that it happened, and fucking he went to the ER that day because he was trying to get out of work that week for the end of the weekend or whatever, and the judge in the beginning when we had to go, because there was like a process, this was before COVID, this all started before COVID, so we were in the courtroom and the judge was like, he has a fucking alibi. Like, and all of this, he's had different judges, but all of them, if he would have had the same judge, I think throughout the whole time, maybe something could have went differently. But unfortunately, because of COVID, there was judge hops. The judge that he started with wasn't the judge that continued, and then COVID happened, and then another sub-judge came in. And I'm just like, there's so many, I could have did a better job than our lawyer. I could have ran trials from Walgreens to the hospital to prove there's no way you can do that in 20 minutes. And I would have, I still wish that I would see this grainy ass photo that is supposed to match my husband's description, because Jake does have, the woman says she doesn't remember any distinguishing features, just angry eyes. My husband has distinguishing features. How many of you think that Jocelyn looks like my husband because they have the same ears? Okay. Let's look at the ears of the guy. Let's see if those are, if that's viewable. The mohawk is a distinguishing feature, and she didn't mention anything about that. The guy's haircut, because that's what the robber had. So I'm sorry, but their fucking witness to testify is a piece of shit and just making up shit to go along with the Taylor police because she had nothing else to go off of because she didn't even remember. Her story changed. Not only that, but this robbery happened so easily. If he slipped a piece of paper, apparently, to the cash register lady and said, I'm robbing the store. Now, with no weapon to be seen, I'm sorry, maybe it's just the fighter in me. Maybe I'm just not used to being like a victim. But if it was me and I didn't see any weapon and somebody's trying to tell me they're going to rob a store, I'm going to pick up the cash register and I'm going to bash them over the head and run fucking bloody murder screaming on the top of my lungs. That's just me. I wouldn't go down without a fight, which is why I'm here live on Facebook asking you guys to spread this message, because this whole situation has been absurd. And now I'm seeing being shown on the news, the Taylor police beating the shit out of somebody out of the car. Like, y'all catch that? Oh my God. There's fucking injustice being done and improper procedures and investigations, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to sit down quietly because my family's not going to be ripped apart for something that we had no deal with, nothing. No, I can't even think of the term I'm looking with. Association. That was the word I was thinking of. So, yeah, this has just been completely ridiculous. And this is why I'm live. When this first went down, I wanted to scream on the top of my lungs, just as I'm doing now. But I was trying to be respectful because it's not just me. And so I was trying to be respectful of all parties. But this has gone way too far. And I need either a lawyer who's willing to first help me appeal the length that he's there. And then while that's, hopefully being approved, fighting this whole thing. He should not have to serve time because of a failed lawyer that we spent $10,000 on, by the way. That was the work um that he did for $10,000, was help my husband plead to something and push it on him that he didn't do. Again, because he's lawyer, or he was fucking lazy. There's so many comments, and sorry, I'm trying to read them. I'm like super Samantha, I did make a GoFundMe, and actually, I'm going to share the GoFundMe in my stories on Instagram, but also the GoFundMe is in the top of this live video. In the caption, I attached the link to our GoFundMe because I am trying to raise money for the best possible lawyer that we can get who's willing to be a shark with me, because I'm a motherfucking shark. Okay. When I want something, I go after it. When I believe in something, you guys have followed me for so long. The most of you have been on this journey with me, and for the last 5 years, and you know that I'm a mama bear. I'm a fucking shark. I'm a lion. I don't sit quietly. And so, Amanda, that's so sweet. If anybody wants to write any kind of letters, I would greatly appreciate it. We're his sister and I ourselves are definitely writing the governor. If anybody else wants to write a letter, you're more than welcome to, and you can either email it to me, message me. I can give you my email, or as far as I see everybody telling me to make a GoFundMe, you guys, the link is in the top of the live, because we spent so much money on this lawyer that did not do us justice. And I'm raising my voice about it because this man is supposed to be one of the best. And maybe he served my husband the first time around because maybe he's good with guilty people, but he did not do any service for the innocent. And our families are outraged, and we're going to do what we can. If that means I need to go after him for misrepresentation, if whatever I have to do. That's why yesterday there was like 30 people who sent me lawyer recommendations, and I greatly appreciate it. Trust me, I'm going to try to reach out to them all, and I'm going to find one that is ready to fucking just nail this to the wall and get him out as soon as possible. Because none of it makes sense. It should not have gotten this far. It should have been dropped a long time ago. There's no motive. If I needed $200, you guys, my parents would give it to me. If Jake needed $200, his parents would give it to him. Our families are not poor. Our families are well off. We are. There's absolutely no reason for for him to have ever done that, and he didn't do that. But again, because the Taylor Police did no investigation into the matter of who he is, all they saw was that he was in the store that day, and 10 years ago, there was a similar situation that he did in his youth. They pigeonholed him into being this criminal, and he is not. He is not a criminal. He's a loving father. He's a loving husband. Do we have a perfect marriage, you guys? No, of course we fight. You guys, I'm a very opinionated, strong-willed woman, okay? It takes a lot to handle this shit, and he handles it. and he, love him to death, but he was the youngest, and he was the only boy. There's a little bit of spoilage, but you guys, I handle that shit. We love each other. We love each other to death, and neither of us would ever do anything to jeopardize our life together. Never. I was pregnant. He'd never want to miss his baby's birth. He would never want to miss his baby's first birthday. There's never a moment in my mind of doubt that he would ever do anything like this. If there was, I would not be live. I would not be standing by his side. So this is just really a lot of laziness, a lot of lack of procedure, a lot of injustice, and I'm just not going to tolerate it. So, the court we are in Wayne County. Samantha, yes, the bar, I'm looking into, so you can appeal the length of a plea, Laura. Sorry, I'm like getting sidetracked. I want to find a lawyer, that is willing to try to fight the appeal altogether because of misrepresentation. He was basically omitted a lot of information so that essentially he would take a plea. The lawyer didn't want to do the work, essentially. Walgreens does have cameras, actually, but because he was if they had this handprint, I don't know why it took 3 months for them to come arrest him. Because in that time, Walgreens now said that they don't have surveillance, they don't have the whole video. Did the cops think that because you were pregnant, y'all were hard up for money? I don't know, Amanda. I mean, I've been on here a million times saying how blessed I am to have Beachbody because I'm making a full-time income from home. And my husband is a chef. He was together we were bringing in, I would say close to 80 grand a year. And like I said, my parents are well off. His parents are well off. I mean, if we needed money, there's that. I've taken loans before for school and things like that. I have a great credit score. I've built that up even after my divorce, even after my first marriage took my credit score to the ground. I built that shit back up because, again, you guys, I'm a fucking jerk. I get shit done. So there's literally no motive for that at all. And you're right, their investigation skills suck because they're lazy and they didn't want to do the work. It was an easy and shut case for them just because of a record from 10 years ago. I am trying to find somebody who's willing to go the extra mile, and that's why I have the GoFundMe link at the top, because I know it's going to cost a lot of money. And after we just already spent 10 grand on this douchebag lawyer who didn't want to do the work, obviously we can't just keep throwing around 10 grand, 10 grand, 10 grand. Like I need a fucking shark. And so all the recommendations you guys have shared, I super appreciate. And I'm going to, trust me, I'm going to be contacting so many because I'm going to find the one that, my gut told me that, that there was something that we should not continue with this lawyer long ago. But unfortunately, because of the previous relationship, my husband was just super adamant about it and he just really trusted him. And of course I have no, what's it called? I have no law background. So, it's just one of those like, well, he has a law background and I trust him, which is fine. And I get it. I understand it. There was a lot of like disagreement about how the whole thing was handled, but in the end, he respects and understands now why I wanted to scream so loud about it. And trust me, he's kicking himself in the ass. And Megan, you're absolutely right. What happened to innocent and proven guilty? Because my husband made one mistake in his 20s that he pled, that he admitted to, that he said, I'm guilty, I deserve my punishment, I'm going to serve time, I'm going to I fucked up. He admitted that. And that's another thing. Why would he so adamantly say that he didn't do it if he did, when he was the honest man back then, and admitted to it? Anyway, again, things just don't fucking add up. But because of that one mistake, he has felt this whole time that he's guilty, and he's just trying to figure out how to prove that he's innocent. And his lawyer did not do that service. This whole thing has been crazy. And I appreciate you guys that you've respected the privacy. You know me, I love sharing my life, and if I can, impact the world in any way, whether it's a positive source, a positive light, motivation, inspiration, I'm going to share, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to help people get through the tough shit that they're going through. But it's like, now it's like I'm calling in all those favors. There's so many of you over the year and over the last 5 years that have said, like you inspire me. Like if you ever need to talk, if you ever need to do this, like I'm here. So like you guys, I'm stepping up and I'm saying I do. Like now I do. So whether it's sharing this video, which is completely free, which it's if it's tagging people that you think can help, that's free. Um, if it's being able to help donate, like I said, on Instagram I'm going to put the link in my stories, and on Facebook it's in the caption to this live video. So however you guys are willing to help, it is so much appreciated, because I'm going to bring my husband home one way or another. And I love you guys and I appreciate the support. And you know, my husband loves you guys, and he's been my rock through so much, through the miscarriage, through my pregnancy. You guys, again, the reason my husband was wanting to call off work and not go into work was because he wanted to help clean the house for me, because I was feeling miserable in my pregnancy. That's the kind of man he is. He I complain a lot. So does he. We both have our moments, right? But for the most part, we have our roles. And my role was always, I'm really good with the girls. And so I do more of the children thing. But you guys, he does laundry, he does dishes, he cleans, he vacuums, he gets into his flow, he scrubs the bathroom. He cooks dinner. You guys all see that he's a chef and he cooks dinner all the time. He takes it off my plate and he doesn't even require me to wash the dishes. He'll wash the dishes too. Like that's who he is. And so to have that stripped from us is just ridiculous, because we trusted the wrong people, and the police did us no justice. So now I'm trying to find the right people to trust, and the right people to help bring him home, because he doesn't deserve to be there any moment longer than he already is. Yesterday is when he had to turn himself in. So there he sits in county in a cell with a freaking 1-inch mattress pad, sitting there thinking about how much he regrets listening to his lawyer. So again, I didn't catch a lot of the comments, you guys, but I will go back and I'll read and I'll comment. And I know my message inbox is like super blown up, and that's fine. I love that. Thank you so much. Please be patient with me. Please be patient with me in getting back to everybody and answering everybody's questions. That's why I wanted to go live, because I know a lot of people have been concerned about me, have been concerned about our family, and it was just a lot easier to address like this and get the word out like this than repeating myself 100 times. So I am really sad and I want to cry, but I have so much anger and rage and frustration about the situation that right now my adrenaline is pumping. And so the only thing I know how to do is just really just fight some people and get this shit taken care of as soon as possible. So yes, Nicole, the video will stay up on Instagram. I don't know how long the live will last, so I'm going to try to upload in segments on IGTV so that it's up on Instagram permanently with the link, and then on Facebook it will. I have no intention on taking this live down, so that if as many people as possible can share it, and if you can tell people to share it, and I mean, if this goes viral, it will only just help our case even more. And that's something that is free that you can do if you choose to want to help. As far as, again, I know I saw a lot of you asking about GoFundMe's. I do have that link up. I will put it in my Instagram stories. And then I will also put it's in the caption of this live video. So you guys, I appreciate you all listening and you guys staying on and you guys hearing my voice and all the support and love. And I'm going to hop off now and take care of my kids. And I love you. And I will talk to you all soon.